Hi, this is Mike McConville, Director of New Category Development with Horizon Hobby. In this video, we're going to show how to set and how to use the virtual fence in park mode with the new Sportsman S Plus. If you've just put the airplane together and haven't flown it yet, it's already set in park mode, so you can skip the first part of this video. We're going to show how to put it back into park mode. If you've already flown it and you've changed it to Airfield mode, then you need to change it back first to be in park mode. So the first part will show how to change it back, and the second part will show the couple simple steps and how to use it properly. Okay, to change from Airfield mode back to park mode, just a couple simple steps. First, access the battery. But before we plug it in, we turn on the transmitter. Like always, it's best practice to turn the transmitter on before powering up the airplane. Transmitter's on, so we power the airplane up. We'll hear the ESC. That tone just tells us that it has power. It's not looking for satellites yet until we turn it upright. So now it's upright, it starts looking for satellites, so before it gets locked, we hold the stick, the right stick in the inside corner. It's full up elevator and full left aileron. The right stick we leave at low throttle and we don't touch it. And we just wait till it gets satellite lock. Once it does that, like it just did, it tells us it did by moving the ailerons off, and we heard the ESC tone. That tells us it's back in park mode. Now it'll stay in that mode until we change it again. So every time we go fly and we want to be in this mode, we don't have to do that every time, just the first time to change it back. Now we just flip it back over, disconnect the battery. Next time we plug it in, we're good to go fly. To set the virtual fence park mode properly, there's just a couple very easy steps you have to follow as the airplane powers up, so it knows the point on the ground that it wants to shoot for when it lands and the direction that it wants to land when you tell it to auto land. So, as always, we flip the airplane upside down to access the battery. Turn on the transmitter first, because it's always best practice to turn on the transmitter before powering the airplane. Now we power the airplane by plugging it in. We can put the battery hatch back on. Now the airplane won't start to look for satellite lock until it's sitting upright on its wheels. So we're in no rush, but what we want to do is set the airplane at the point on the ground that we want it to aim for when we tell it to auto land. This is also the point that it will circle around when we go into holding pattern. So in this case, I want it to be probably in the middle of this runway, so I'll walk the airplane out and I'll set it at this point. Now it'll get satellite lock, and we'll hear the ESC tone to tell us that it's ready to go. Now we're ready to go. Now the system knows its point on the earth where we want it to land, or we want it to circle when we tell it to go to holding pattern, but it doesn't know which way to take off. When we're in this mode, the takeoff is going to set the direction it's going to land. So whichever way the nose is pointing when we're in this mode, when the throttle passes 90% for the first time, that sets that heading. So whenever I tell it to auto land, it's going to go downwind and fly that heading back to the point that it's sitting at right now. So since I'm pointing right down the runway, if I push the throttle forward, that's going to set it, and it's going to land from behind the airplane in that direction. If I were to point the nose straight out and push the throttle up, then when I tell it to land, it's going to approach from behind me and try to land straight out. And with that, we're ready to go. So I push the throttle forward. When it hits 90%, it's going to lock that heading for the rest of this flight. For more videos like this, go to HobbyZoneRC.com.